Hello everyone, I'm Rob Goodwin of YourBostonSports.com. It's Saturday, July 29th, 2017. The deadline is upcoming Monday at 4 o'clock, and it was kind of interesting to hear what Dave Dombrowski had to say the other day. First of all, Joe Kelly's on his way back. He will probably make one rehab appearance and then be activated. And then Dombrowski also pointed out how well Brandon Workman's been throwing. Good to see him back with the team. He played a big role in the 2013 World Series. And he's definitely a good piece to have in the bullpen. So, that's kind of him and Kelly, two pieces. And the offense, as we know, has been sputtering. They lost again last night to Kansas City. And 5 runs would have done it, and they only scored 2. However, they did acquire Eduardo Nunez, and he was one of the hottest hitters in the National League. And it looks to me like what they have to do right now is figure out what's the combination to get this offense started. Does it include Rafael Devers? Does it include Eduardo Nunez, or both, or some combination thereof? I know they've been trying to work in Chris Young to the outfield every now and then. And, of course, Brock Holt's another one on the roster, although his batting average is not quite what we would like to see. So kind of offensive questions, unfortunately. With the deadline coming up, the question is, are they get another bat? Are they going to try for another starter? Now, David Price, and we'll get to him in a minute, he's on the 10-day DL. And Doug Fister is going to take his place in the rotation. Should they go after another long guy in the bullpen to be that spot starter or the 5th starter if necessary? That's kind of the question. Now, I really didn't want to comment on this Dennis Eckersley, David Price thing, but I will. So it sounds to me like David Price acted like a bully on the plane. To be in front of his teammates and call out Dennis Eckersley. And obviously, his beef with Eckersley is a present-day beef, has nothing to do with whether or not he's in the Hall of Fame. And should he have taken that as an issue with Eckersley? Yes. Showing someone up on a team plane just is not behavior becoming of an adult. I'm sorry. And Eckersley, it sounds like he had restraint in mind because there was no physical altercation, so I guess I give him credit. And then the idea that some of the Red Sox players applauded, to me, shows that they were childish. When you hear words like that between two people, pretty much my opinion is, and I've been in the workplace a number of years, as most of you have, that when you hear words exchanged in the workplace, and it's happened at many jobs that I've had, the best thing to do is keep it to yourself. Once a situation like that happens, there are going to be side conversations that are in private, but that's where they belong. That's where they belong, in private. Not in public, not applauding, nothing like that. So I kind of take issue with that behavior. And no, I'm not a baseball player. I've never been with a Major League Baseball team, but it seems to me that's just decorum, as being part of a unit, part of an organization. Now, if it's true that David Price is turning up the music in the clubhouse to try to make it hard for the press to do interviews, that's childish as well. I'm sorry. Maybe he should go back to Tampa Bay where he's the man and there are no Hall of Famers except Wade Boggs, who's probably never there anyways. And the other thing I want to point out is that, as I keep hearing, well, Dennis Eckersley is deemed an apology, should be apologized. Well, the question is, who should have apologized? And Sam Kennedy came out and said he did. The only person that should apologize is David Price, and they should work it out like two human beings. I don't see John Farrell saying, I'm sorry that David Price did this, because in effect, what he'd be saying is, I'm sorry he did this because I don't have control over David Price. Well, no, he doesn't. And in large part, John Farrell doesn't have control over every individual, what their actions are. It's kind of up to the individual to take action or not take action as they see fit. And if they make a bad decision, either they make it right or not. And I don't know that David Price has made it right. If that's how he feels about the media, then you know what? Stay away. Go out and pitch. Throw some good games, and let's get the Red Sox to the playoffs and beyond. And I have no doubt that David Price wants to do that, that's what he wants to do as a professional, as an athlete, as a member of the team. But I think the behavior, I think everyone has to kind of look in the mirror what happened on this team plane, what everyone's role was in this, and get past it, and let's kind of see this team come together and make the playoffs and go beyond. And don't forget, they've got a big series coming up against Cleveland, and Cleveland's been hot, And Kansas City is not a pushover, which they're in the midst of a Kansas City series right now. So I think that's my opinion of the entire situation. And, the deadline, as I said, coming on Monday is always exciting, always kind of nerve-wracking of watching what happens hour by hour and knowing full well that whatever trades happen may not be announced for an hour after the trade deadline. So I think I'll speak for myself. I'll be watching what happens all day on Monday, pending obviously work items because work and my job come first. But we'll definitely be watching what happens on Monday. So, hey, look forward to your comments. We had some great banter back and forth on our Facebook page. Someone posted a post about whether or not David Price and Dustin Pedroia should be traded. That was me trying to stir the pot, trying to get some conversation going. And we even had a Yankee fan who was participating on our Facebook page, which I think is great. We welcome everyone. I really mean that. So that was kind of great to see and very entertaining. And large majority of people say no, Dustin Pedroia should not be traded. And I agree. He's been important piece of this team for a long time. He's having a great season offensively and defensively. I think he's got to show his leadership, and he kind of stepped up yesterday in an interview before the game saying, I'm the leader. I think that's fantastic. I think that's great. So with that, we welcome all your comments on all our social media platforms, on Twitter, on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We have some pictures up on Instagram from our trips to Fenway. And check out our videos, the one especially that we did on Lansdowne Street when we were last at Fenway. I think it was June 30th. So again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Please participate on all of our platforms. And if you want to be a guest on the show by telephone or by video and Skype, let us know. Thanks. Keep in touch.